Welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from the world of sports. And there's plenty of action coming your way. How did Bayern Munich do after their embarrassing loss in Wolfsburg? How is the Qatari money taking a grip on yet another sport? And who are the big stars of the week? All this and much more coming up. Let's get started. We begin with the midweek action in the Bundesliga, and after their terrible return from the break, Bayern Munich was hoping to show their fans that the loss in Wolfsburg over the weekend was nothing more than just a slip along the way. The Bavarians hosted Schalke at the Allianz Arena and got off to the worst possible start. Early on, they were down to 10 men as Jerome Boateng sees the red card following the foul inside the area. Schalke have a golden opportunity to take the lead, but Eric Choupo-Moting does a terrible job from the spot. It didn't even require any special effort from Manuel Neuer, and it's still goalless. Second half, and despite being a man down, Bayern scores. Arjen Robben does it following the corner kick, but Bayern were not very impressive and paid the price. Soon after, Schalke gets the equalizer. 1-0 was the final score. Not bad if you ask Pep Guardiola.
No, I'm not just happy. I'm perfectly satisfied. When you have to play against Schalke, this manager, and these players for 70 minutes, it's not easy. We got lucky on the penalty kick, but we played well. First, we only had one chance to score after a high ball and a strong header. But towards the end, we created enough chances, and it's sad that we didn't capitalize on them. And we wanted all 3 points, needless to say.
Bayern's draw meant that Wolfsburg could have closed the gap at the top to 6 with a win in Frankfurt. The Wolves were not nearly as lethal as they were when they embarrassed Bayern Munich on Friday. In fact, they were lucky to come home with a point. The home team took the lead on 57 minutes as Stefan Aigner found the net. But as time went by, Wolfsburg mounted the pressure, and it finally paid off 2 minutes from time. Kevin De Bruyne, who scored twice against the Bavarians, does it again here. This game too ends at 1-1. The gap at the top of the Bundesliga remains at 8 points. 2 more matches were held last night. 1-1 was the result between Hannover and Mainz, and Borussia Mönchengladbach beat Freiburg 1-0. Is Bayern Munich vulnerable? Is there any realistic chance for Wolfsburg to catch up with them? Maybe there is if we look at their brand new transfer. World Cup champion Andreas Schürrle joined the club on the last day of the transfer window. Wolfsburg paid Chelsea 30 million euros for the striker, the biggest transfer in their history. German analysts are claiming Wolfsburg made the best moves during the transfer window, not only bringing Schürrle but also keeping De Bruyne, who already scored 3 times since the return from the winter break. The newcomer already trained with his new teammates, and he's expected to play in their home match on Saturday against Hoffenheim. 5 more matches will be played tonight, among them a very interesting one at the Westfalenstadion, where Borussia Dortmund will hope to jump out of the last place when they host Augsburg. In any other season, you would think Dortmund would be clear favorites, but on a season like this, when Jurgen Klopp's team lost 8 of 18 so far, anything can happen. Despite that, the manager still has a lot of confidence in his team.
I hope that the times are over when we have to concern ourselves with our place in the league table, with Augsburg being very much on top and us being very much at the bottom. But we are still Dortmund, and I hope that we have said goodbye to that for the important tasks over the next couple of weeks, and that means that it is an open match against a strong opponent. We have to be strong, and yes, that's just soccer.
Moving now to England, where it's time for the replays in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Just the fact of playing in Old Trafford may have felt like a dream for the players of 4th Division Cambridge United, and as soon as the game started, their dream could have even got better, but Tom Elliott's shot only found the post. Later on, the difference in quality was clear. Manchester United took control. 25 minutes in, Juan Mata provides the final touch to put the Red Devils on top. Marwan Fellaini set Mata for the goal. He was hoping to score the second, but his shot is saved. The rebound comes to Van Persie, who sets Marcos Rojo to put United 2-0 up. They added one more after the break. James Wilson scores from outside the area. Manchester United are through to the 5th round after winning 3-0. Spanish football now, and Real Madrid will host Seville tonight in a match that was postponed last December as the Merengues participated back then in the Club World Championship. It's a big game for the Madrid team, as a win could put them 4 points clear of Barcelona at the top and 7 points clear of city rivals Atletico Madrid, who they will face this weekend. But it will not be easy. Seville are very strong this season and they're fighting neck and neck with Valencia for the 4th place and the Champions League ticket it brings along. Manager Carlo Ancelotti knows his team is up for a tough challenge tonight.
There is no doubt, Sevilla are a dangerous team. They have a very good organization. They have been having a very good season. They have very good players to play a counter-attacking game and who can play in small spaces. So it will be a very difficult match if we don't play well.
And while Real Madrid will be battling tonight on the field, Barcelona may have to prepare itself for another battle in court. A Spanish judge charged the president of Barcelona, Josep Maria Bartomeu, on Tuesday with tax fraud linked to the signing of Brazilian star Neymar and ordered Bartomeu in a written ruling to appear before him on February 13th as a suspect over alleged tax evasion worth nearly 3 million euros. The summons followed a call by public prosecutors for Bartomeu and the club as a whole to be tried on the tax fraud allegations relating to the 2013 transfer. The prosecutor alleges that the club and its former president, Sandro Rosell, paid more for Neymar than the 57 million euros that they declared to the Spanish taxman. Barcelona reacted to the request with a surprised indignation and total disagreement in a statement published last night. Now to the African Cup of Nations, where the first semi-final will be held tonight. The Ivory Coast may have lost Didier Drogba, who retired from international football following the World Cup, but they're still one of the strongest teams in African football, and they're heavy favorites to beat the Democratic Republic of Congo and make it to the final. The Elephants only won the trophy once, back in 1992. They're now 2 wins away from the second one, and manager Hervé Renard knows they have a lot of firepower to go all the way.
We start against Algeria with Gervinho, Gradel, Wilfried Bony in front, but on the bench we have, we start with these three strikers. On the bench we have Salomon Kalou, Seydou Doumbia, Lassina Traoré, Junior Tallo, just behind, so we have a lot of argument to score goals, so this is important.
Handball now, and the victorious French team returned home after winning their 5th World Cup. They were greeted by President François Hollande at the Élysée Palace on the return from Qatar. France are by far the most successful team in the world, as they're currently not only world champions but also European champions and Olympic gold medalists. President Hollande is obviously very proud of them and also feels somewhat sorry for those who have to play against them.
Jamais aucune équipe.
Never before has any other team won 5 titles, never.
Jamais.
And I want to remind you that to do this in a span of 20 years, that's hard.
Ça doit être énervant pour les autres.
It's very annoying for the other teams, and I feel for those teams that come out against France in a big competition.
There is no surprise in the fact that France won the title again, but it's a completely different story when you look at the other team that made it to the finals. Qatar has never been a major handball nation, but that did not stop them from hosting the event and finishing as runners-up. How did they do it? It's easy when you have the money for it. No less than 11 players out of the 16 that make the team come from foreign countries, some with a history in other national teams, and suddenly they found it convenient to become Qatari citizens and play for their new homeland. Though it may be legitimate practice according to international handball rules, it left many with a very uncomfortable feeling. Liz Barenbaum and Shai Ben-Ari with a story.
Qatar's efforts seem to be bearing fruit. Despite losing to France in the finals, the hosts of the World Handball Championship proved to the world that they can compete against the top countries.
The team fight totally, and I am very happy. This is a success for it's the first team that arrived in the semi-final, not European.
On the other side, the French handball coach recognizes the merit of the young Qatari team.
I think they believed at the competition, they believed it was possible, and they almost achieved the performance in the end, so congratulations to the work of Valero and congratulations to the Qatari team.
But the road to the success was long. The state led by Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani has worked hard to host major competitions. In 2010, they were awarded the 2022 World Cup.
A milestone in the history of the Middle East and a milestone for FIFA. So thank you again. Thank you very much. And we hope to make this dream a final reality, and we hope to see you in the opening match.
Despite suspicions of corruption, he is not about to withdraw from the competition at the moment. For its handball side, Qatar has utilized a very intriguing policy. Of the 16 players who make up Qatar's team, only 5 are Qatari. The other 11 come from the four corners of the globe, including Frenchman Bertrand Ronnet. Those handball players were attracted by adventure and money and came despite the risk of criticism.
So they are a bit on a cloud. We will try to take them down from the cloud.
It's not the first time Qatar has done something like this. In athletics, Kenyan Stephen Cherono became world champion in 2003 after becoming a naturalized Qatari citizen, in exchange for a life of wealth. He is now called Saeed Shaif Shakhin. But not all of Qatar's attempts have always worked. In 2011, Mohammed bin Hammam failed to be elected president of FIFA. He was even banned for life from all football-related activities.
The official, Mr. bin Hammam, is hereby banned from taking part in any kind of football-related activity at national and international level, administrative, sports, and any other for life.
But the failures are there. The 2017 World Athletics Championships were awarded to London despite a whopping budget, and the Qatar bid for the 2020 Olympics has not passed the screening of the IOC. What will happen with the 2022 World Cup infrastructure, which has cost 130 billion euros and thousands of lives?
NBA now, and we go to Portland, where the Trailblazers met the Utah Jazz. It was supposed to be an easy match for the home side. Portland is one of the strongest teams in the very competitive Western Conference. The Jazz, on the other hand, are one of the weakest teams with no realistic chance of making it to the playoffs, but they gave the Blazers a very hard time. The game was close all along, and even when Portland opened a small gap in the final quarter, Utah was not letting go. The home fans were hoping it's over, as they led by 9 with 3.5 minutes to go, but the Jazz made it a 2-point game with 10 seconds to go. Another three-pointer made it a 1-point game within the final second. Damian Lillard then missed from the line, but time ran out. It was much harder than expected, but the Blazers win 103-102. There's a reason why Serena Williams and Novak Djokovic hold the first place in the WTA and ATP for so long. This week they proved us all once again that they are the best in the world. Both number ones won their respective Australian Open titles, and they were not the only ones to find success this week. Here's Michael Friedman with our Stars of the Week.
With exciting finals this week around the world, who is your favorite winner? Serena Williams, Novak Djokovic, Team Australia, or the New England Patriots? Serena Williams took on Maria Sharapova in the 2015 Australian Open Finals in a stellar match. The American star extended her winning streak against the Russian to 16 in a row. The world number one has now surpassed her childhood heroes Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova, and is only 3 matches behind Steffi Graf, who holds 22 majors. After the win, Serena was jumping up and down in celebration, and Navratilova was there to hand the trophy to the champion.
Novak Djokovic.
And moving to the men's tennis champion, Novak Djokovic captured another Grand Slam title. Australia has proven to be a successful place for the Serbian. The world number one took on Andy Murray, and this gave him his 5th title in Oz. While the first 2 sets proved competitive, Djokovic would go on to win in 3 hours and 39 minutes and held the trophy high in the air. Still down under, the Asian Cup final was played in Sydney with the host country fans showing their colors. While the Koreans had not let in a goal in the entire tournament, Massimo Longo had a beautiful strike to put his side ahead. The Koreans were resilient with a late equalizer, but it wasn't enough as the Socceroos claimed their first Asian Cup title, winning 2-1 in extra time. Team Australia were crowned the new kings of Asian football. And moving across to the United States, the biggest event of the year took place when the New England Patriots defeated the Seattle Seahawks 28-24 in Super Bowl 49. This epic event came down to the wire, and the Patriots were able to survive to give Tom Brady and Bill Belichick a 4th NFL championship together. The newspapers were already printed reading "Champs Again," and all the players were celebrating this emotional victory. Of the 4 big winners this week, Serena Williams captured her 19th Grand Slam. Novak Djokovic took his 8th title. The Socceroos won the Asian Cup, and the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl. So pick your favorite champion of the week.
We will end our show with the race that has rightfully earned the nickname Tough Guy Competition. Nearly 5,000 runners from 37 different countries braved the bitter cold English winter, the mud, the fire, and exhaustion, only to claim the tough guy title. 13 kilometers may not sound too much, but when you add the huge wooden barricades, rope walks, deep icy water, fire barriers, and the thick mud along the way, you realize this is a very challenging race. The winner was Briton Jonathan Albon, who completed the torture course in 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 47 seconds. And that's it for us today. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime on our website at i24news.tv. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.